Hey mamas, and welcome to the Entering Motherhood podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Marie Bilger, a wife, mom of two, VBAC mama, and doula. Join us every episode to learn from professionals, special guests, and moms just like you, ensuring that you know what you need to know and discover things that you didn't know before. I believe in you. Let's doula this, and let's navigate the transition of entering motherhood together. Hey mama, this is another episode of the Entering Motherhood podcast. This specifically is a Doula Talk episode, which if you don't know, we go live on Instagram. And by we, I mean me and Katelyn, who is the co-creator of our signature Own Your Birth childbirth education course. Please go look at that if you are looking for a childbirth education course. It's self-led, online, comprehensive course, and it is just packed with all the information that you will need to be able to feel informed and empowered as you navigate this stage of pregnancy and leading into birth and even the postpartum period. So we are so excited about that course, and we have been chatting and having these doula talks to provide you with more information to really own your birth and have information that maybe you didn't know or refresh your memory on things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you ever have any topics that you feel like you would want to add or hear, if you have any questions, then please reach out to us and let us know so that we can include it in these episodes and in these conversations that we are having for you to really feel informed and empowered. So let's get this episode started. About cesarean options today for our doula talk. Katelyn, are you there? There she is. Oh,
Hi.
hello.
Hi.
I was saying my phone said it was having poor connection, so I was like, hopefully this is loading.
Yeah. I was having trouble joining too. I was sending the request how I normally do, and it was not letting me. So I was like, oh no.
Cool. All right. So we are talking about cesarean options today. We're keeping it short and sweet and just popping in and doing our doula talk. So do you want to kind of start off? I guess for those of you that don't know, Katelyn and I have both had cesareans. They were unplanned. Well, in a sense.
Yeah, mine was planned, but not what I wanted.
Right. Mine was unplanned going into labor, and Katelyn had a breech situation. So it was planned in that sense, but still not ideal.
Yeah.
But we just want to talk about a few options if you are either planning on having a cesarean or if you find yourself, last minute in a cesarean situation, then we want you to know that there are options.
Yes, there's so many options. So first, I guess, I don't even know where to begin, but if you are a mama who's like from the beginning planning a cesarean and you want something that's like very much led by you, check out maternal-assisted cesareans. Those are the coolest thing, I think. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pushback in the US for them, but check it out. And if that's something that you're interested in, talk to your doctor because holy moly, they're so cool. That's all I'm going to say about those, though.
And I would just add to that, yes, it's probably very, very rare. I've never heard of a situation around here with that happening.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I've, seen the very few videos or stories of that being a situation. Yeah. But do you want to kind of explain a little bit more about what that is for those people that don't know what it is?
Sure. So basically what a maternal-assisted cesarean is where once the doctor is like getting to the point of getting the baby out, they lower the drape all the way down, and then the mom is sterile. They have all the sterile gloves and gown and all that on. So once they lower the drape, the doctor kind of lifts up the baby a little bit, like just a little bit. And the mom reaches her arms out and helps pull baby up to her chest. And honestly, if I were planning a cesarean, like, from the get-go, that would probably be what I would push for. I don't know of all the research out there. I know there's one doctor in, I think it's Australia, who has kind of piloted that, and I want to say, for some reason, and I could be very wrong, I feel like I've seen something about somebody in, like, Colorado or Utah or something like that doing it. Like I said, I could be wrong on that, though, but I really think I've seen that. But, yeah, it is really cool. So, anyway, so some other cesarean options that are much more common practice around here, we'll say. And most of these can be done even if it's like a last minute emergent cesarean. Not all of them, but depending on how emergent it is. Most of the time, your cesarean will be under spinal anesthesia, so you can still be awake. If it's a true, like, crash, real emergency, they're probably gonna do general, and you most likely won't be awake if it's general anesthesia. But as long as you have the spinal, you can still have a say in what's going on. You can ask them to lower the drape so you can see baby come out. You can ask them to, like, some hospitals or doctors wanna strap your arms down. That was the case with me, and then I had a friend who delivered in the same hospital via cesarean 3 weeks later than me, and her arms weren't strapped down. So, ask about that, because I remember when I was planning for my VBAC, I was like, "Do not strap my arms down." Like, "No, it is not okay. I did not like that." And they were like, "Oh, we don't do that at all." I was like, "Good." So, know that that might be something that happens and ask that question if you feel strongly about that. Another thing is you can ask for music to be playing in the room. You know, I know a lot of moms have a labor playlist or just a playlist that they want going. That can bring a lot of comfort and familiarity into something that seems so out of control, I feel like. And so having a labor playlist or just a playlist going in the background can be really comforting. Some other options is you can still do like a variation of delayed cord clamping. They will a lot of times, like, once baby's out, they'll wait for, I wanna say they told me at the hospital I had a C-section at the max was like a minute. That could have changed a little bit though, but I'm pretty sure that's what I've still heard. They'll wait around a minute. They don't wanna do much more for, like, infection risk, but that's what they tend to do. And then most of the time, they will take baby straight to the warmer. But if that's something that you're really against, ask. Just say, "Hey, I really want baby to come straight to me," and just see what they say. Those are the things that come to mind right off the top of my head. Do you have anything to add, Sarah? I'm
Yeah,
sure you
and I
do.
mean, like yeah, like you said, like, having baby come straight to you, even if that's your partner or somebody that's in the room with
Mhm,
you, holding baby close to your face, like, still getting that, like, contact, talking to them, being with them, and then most of the time, your partner can do immediate skin to skin. So maybe, like, your partner takes the baby out in the other
mhm,
room and, like, starts skin to skin right away because it's that
mhm,
connection, it's that human, just bonding, the
mhm.
body heat, being on somebody. And then once you are, fixed up and able to like go into the recovery room, then that can transfer to
Mhm.
you and you can start breastfeeding right away. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of things. I think a lot of people hear like, oh, like because it's a cesarean, like you had trouble breastfeeding or
Mhm,
something like that. And it's like there can be, obviously, like you said, like if you're under general anesthesia and you're not
mhm.
awake for it, then like you
Yeah.
can't start that process. Or if baby has to get rushed to the NICU or different
Mhm.
situations where you don't have that immediate connection,
Yeah.
then try to like make sure that that is available as soon as possible. And then just
Mhm,
like the difference between a clear drape and not. So you can either
mhm,
choose to have, it's usually probably like a blue color,
mhm,
have the blue drape there so you cannot see anything. And that is,
mhm,
obviously an option if you don't want to see, the
mhm.
process happening. But if you do and you're open to that, they do have a clear drape option. And then, like you were saying, even like lowering the drape completely, I think that that's becoming like more of a thing, like having that like
Yeah.
immediate connection, making sure
Mhm,
like everything's they want it to be sterile in the OR and things like that, but this is your baby. You're going to be holding them, without a
Yeah.
drape or without gloves in a little bit anyway. So, like, really kind of allowing that process to occur, just making sure, where your incision is still staying
Yeah.
sterile. And yeah, like back to your point too with like the delayed cord clamping, obviously, you have an open wound. They want to,
Mhm.
tend to that. So it's a little bit trickier to have like that delayed cord clamping, but talking through these things. And even if you think like
Mhm.
cesarean is not an option, you are not planning on it, it is in no way something that you want or plan on
Yeah.
having, I really feel like it's a good idea just to go through these basic options and
Mhm.
understanding what it might look like if it does come to that, because we can try to avoid cesarean every which way, but the
Mhm.
reality of it is here in the United States, especially if you're having a hospital birth, that percentage is still like that 30%. In other places,
Yeah.
ask your provider, what's the cesarean rate?
Yeah.
See in your area, like talk to local moms, go in local Facebook groups and see like, hey, like what providers have lower cesarean rates if that's really important to you. Ask them, what is the chance of me needing a cesarean? What would lead me to a
Mhm.
cesarean? Because that does
Mhm.
depend on your provider. And I do
Mhm.
think that there are different situations, like as far as your water breaking, how long can I go with my water being broken? How long can I push
Mhm.
for? Really start asking these questions so that you're not
Mhm.
coming to it and they're like, oh, you pushed for an hour, baby's not coming, let's go have a cesarean.
Yeah. Oh.
Like you're aware of these options and aware of these
Mhm.
possibilities, and if it's something that you do not want, then let's
Mhm.
really talk through it and make sure that we are not getting there if
Yeah.
at all possible.
Yeah.
And there's, obviously situations that are unavoidable and,
Yeah.
it does come to that, but that's why, yeah, I think it's important to know what your options are, know what the different possibilities are, not only for the actual physical process of the cesarean,
Mhm.
but leading up to it as well.
Yes, for sure, for sure. And, like, even with my daughter, it was kinda funny when I was planning my VBAC for her. I told my husband, I said, "Alright, so here is my birth plan." I said, "Keep it in the folder." I said, "And here is my cesarean birth plan. Keep it in your back pocket, and nobody knows it's there. But if it comes to it, this is what I want."
Yeah,
And he was like, "Okay, it's under lock and key."
yeah,
But I sat down and I made that plan, and I thought about, "Okay, what do I want?" Because at the end of the day, even if birth goes a little bit sideways, you still want your voice to be heard, and you still wanna be thinking, "Okay, if this happens, then what?" And that's the thing that I preach so much is educate yourself, because if you don't know the possibilities, you don't know the options, and if you don't know the options, you don't know what you can choose or what you can't choose. Because I promise you they're not gonna tell you everything, especially in a hospital setting, and that's why it's so important to just educate yourself. That way you can, you know, advocate for yourself. And it doesn't always have to be like the statistically sensible option. It can just be, okay, I know my options and this is the one that makes the most sense logically, but this is the one I'm feeling in my gut.
yeah,
Go with that. You know, like do what feels best for you and your baby.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and there's always a possibility too, like, if you do have a breech presentation or something and they're like, "Hey, like, we don't feel comfortable if you can't find a provider who's trained in breech," then you can
mhm,
wait until you go into spontaneous labor and
yep.
then go in for your cesarean because they they're gonna have it prepped, they're gonna have it ready, like, if they are, like, a truly equipped hospital and ready for, like,
Mhm,
unplanned situations and emergent situations, then it
mhm,
doesn't have to be scheduled at 39 weeks.
yep.
And, if you do want to have your cesarean scheduled at 39 weeks and like, hey, like I had a pretty traumatic experience the first time, I had extreme tearing, baby was, just not cooperating, whatever it might be. Like, if you were like, I don't want to go through that again, like Katelyn and I, we support decisions that, you
Mhm.
make, that you are just like you were saying, like fully educated, fully aware of,
Yep.
fully know your options. But if
Yep.
that's the route that you want to go to, I think like that's a very empowering choice. And it's something
Mhm.
that like you get to decide. So,
Yes.
obviously I feel like you and I are going to support that VBAC, and like
Oh,
we
yeah.
we hope for the vaginal birth, but we also understand that, there are situations where you want to go through with a cesarean. If you're having
Mhm.
twins and you are like, you know what, like I feel safer, I would rather prefer going through with the cesarean, then that's your choice. And we just want
Yeah.
you to be like aware of all of your options and fully educated in every choice.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and just at the end of the day, our biggest hope is that no matter what situation you find yourself in, generally speaking, you always have options. And it's so important for your voice to be heard and you to say, "Hold on, let's talk about this." Because at the end of the day, it's your birth and you deserve to birth in a way that you feel comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, but if anybody has any questions, or if you have any options that we didn't talk about or didn't discuss, or something that you did at your cesarean or that you're planning on doing that you want to, drop in the comments or let us know, message us here on Instagram, and just, have the conversation and talk about it.
Yes, yes. Our inboxes are always open. The comment section is always open. Let us know what you want to hear on future doula talks, and we will see y'all next week.
Yeah. Thank you, mamas, so much for listening. Remember, you are a rock star. I believe in you. Let's doula this. Let's crank it up a notch and let's kick it into high gear together. Hit that subscribe button, share this episode with a friend, message me, email me, call me, beat me. You know how to reach me. We're doing this, mamas. I am so excited to catch you here next week. This is your one-stop go-to place for helping you find the resources you need to make the best choices for you and your family during pregnancy, birth, and most importantly, postpartum. See you later, mamas.